welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Esestayzia and I'm a YouTuber based here in Calgary, Alberta, Canada. If you're new, thank you for stopping by. Please consider subscribing to my YouTube channel, and if you're a returning subscriber, thank you so much. You guys are amazing. You guys are amazing. Anyway, so today I'm here to give a follow-up video from the last one I dropped, which was what's in my hospital bag as a first-time mom. If you haven't seen that video, click on this link here so you can go watch it before you continue with this one. I have now had my baby boy, my beautiful baby boy. I'm excited. We're all excited at home here. So I thought it would be important and necessary for me to update you guys on what was actually used in my hospital bag. Once again, I've had my beautiful baby boy. I was blessed with an amazing team. I can't even say that enough. The doctors and nurses I had were really amazing. I'm super grateful to God for blessing me with such an amazing team. Everything went well. We're all healthy and safe and sound. My boy is beautiful, the most handsome boy ever. Anyway, so yeah, so after giving birth and realized that, you know, there were certain things I used and certain things I didn't use, I thought I'll drop this video for you guys to help anyone who might be interested, especially for people who are based here in Calgary or Alberta as a whole, as well as Canada. Please remember, most of the things I will be talking about here is centered around Alberta, centered around the Alberta healthcare system. I live in Calgary, so most of the things are centered around where I live. So it might apply to other people that are in Nigeria, South Africa, Europe, Asia, wherever, but I'm just saying that most of the things I'm saying is based on my experience here in Alberta, Canada. I pretty much used everything in my bag apart from the following things. One of the major things that I ended up not using is a laptop. So I ended up not using the laptop. As a matter of fact, we ended up not taking the laptop. And the reason is because we used our phones for pretty much everything. So our phones to play music, to watch videos, to make videos, to take pictures. We used our phones for literally everything. And the laptop was just going to be another extra load to carry. So we ended up not taking a laptop. And we pretty much entertained ourselves. Like, my husband is very funny. If anybody knows my husband here, they will know that he's hilarious. So we literally were entertaining ourselves. The nurses, my sister, we entertained ourselves majority of the time. So we ended up not taking the laptops. Another very major thing that I ended up not using is my robe. So if you remember, if you watched the video, I took a robe. I ended up not using it, and the reason is because I was mostly on the hospital gown. So I was on that. Giving birth is very messy, so most of the time I was in the hospital gown. It was just easy access for the doctors and nurses to do their thing. There was no point. So when I got to the hospital, I showered first just to be extra comfortable and all of that. So they let us get our room, showed us around and all of that. I did shower and, you know, get settled and everything, and I ended up using the hospital gown. Oh, sorry, just checking my baby here. Bless you, baby. I have a camera watching him, so just checking him. Okay, so I ended up using the hospital gown, so I didn't use the robe. If you watch the video, I took two outfits, two free dresses and two PJs. I ended up using just one of each. So the outfits, I ended up using it after delivery and ended up going home with one of the outfits. So if you're planning on packing your bag, you might want to consider that you're going to be on the hospital gown majority of the time, because that's what I was on, the hospital gown, until it was time for me to actually go home. Another thing I didn't use is nursing pads. I didn't use any of them at all, and the reason is because I didn't start breastfeeding at the hospital per se. Like, my breast milk didn't come out immediately, so I didn't end up using the nursing pads, and I didn't end up using the breast milk storage bags. In fact, I was given a syringe to basically extract the colostrum that comes out of your breast. So that's the first breast milk that comes out in order for us to give babies. So I was given the syringe, and that was what I used in extracting to give to my baby. And they also provided me with a breast pump to basically massage and stimulate my boobs, as well as help in producing the colostrum that I needed to give to my baby. I ended up not using any of my nursing bras or sports bras. So if you remember, I did mention in the previous video that I pretty much hated anything bras, bra, anything like that. It just felt like it was restricting my airflow. It was just choking me. So I ended up not using anyone at the hospital. And you pretty much don't need it. You need to be as open as possible for them to do their job. So I didn't use any of those amongst the things that I packed. Then amongst the baby stuff, I didn't end up using the onesies at all. And that's because baby is pretty much wrapped all through. So they wrap your baby all through. In fact, they helped wrap my baby with the announcement outfit for us to take pictures of our sweet boy. Other than that, we didn't use the onesies at all. The only thing we pretty much used was the going home outfit, and we used just one. Oh, he wore one onesie, one going home outfit, a hat, a mitten, and he didn't even need his socks because his legs was covered in the going home outfit. So he covered his legs. The mittens covered his hands because the thing didn't have the cover for the hands, so he covered his hands. He had a hat, he had his jacket because it was pretty cold in Calgary when I had baby, and his car seat and blanket. That's what we pretty much used. So in other words, every other thing that I had mentioned for baby, we pretty much did not use it, especially the onesies, the extra outfits. Like I said, I used only one because baby was pretty much wrapped all through, and I didn't stay in the hospital for long at all. I was literally in the hospital after I had given birth. I was only in the hospital for maybe 24 hours. I don't even remember if it was up to 24 hours because I really want to go home. So, and my team was pretty good and I was pretty good. So thank God for that. So I didn't stay in the hospital long after giving birth. So there was no reason for baby to have all of these extra outfits I had carried. So maybe for people who would stay in the hospital longer, they would need it. But for me, I didn't need it because I didn't stay in the hospital that long after baby had come. The other thing for baby that I did not need is his baby wash and baby lotion, because baby was not showered in the hospital at all. They just clean baby pretty good and hand baby over to you, and they even advise you not to wash baby at all. But of course I had baby cleaned at home. But what I'm saying is that I didn't use the baby wash or baby lotion and any of that at the hospital. Everything from diapers to formula, all of that was provided at the hospital. So I didn't end up using the diapers I carried. The thing that I ended up using was the wipes. Funny enough, they didn't provide wipes. They only provided like soft cloth with water for you to clean baby. So they didn't provide wipes. So I ended up using my wipes, but they provided diaper, they provided formula. I would advise carry your formula because for me, my baby eats a lot. Knowing the kind of person I am and the kind of person his dad is, we eat. So I knew my baby would eat. My baby is not a baby that doesn't like food. So when they'll give us formula, I had to supplement with my own formula that I had carried because I didn't just have the energy to be calling them every minute to bring extra formula. There were times where I called them to give me extra formula, but bottom line is carry your formula because I ended up using all of the formula I carried. And you know, with baby formula, it's very tricky with the way it works. Like you can't leave it out for this long, this amount of time and all of that. So it's good for you to have extra formula in your hospital bag when you're going to the hospital, just in case breast milk doesn't come out immediately. For me, I think it's important to supplement too with formula. Every mom makes their own decision, every family makes their own decision. I'm just saying based on my own experience that I carried extra formula and I ended up using it. The hospital will provide you with formula, but it might not be enough. So you can always request you can always request extra formula, but I'm just saying that I ended up using my own formula that I carried. Every other thing was provided and sufficient for me, but I ended up using like the formula I carried. Another thing that I didn't end up using is my insurance. So because of the way the healthcare system is here, I ended up not using my insurance. I was provided with a private room all through the whole pregnancy journey, from being in triage to labor, to delivery, to after delivery, all of that. I basically did not need my insurance. I was provided with a private room. In fact, my team was blessed because the hospital I ended up giving birth at, they had mentioned to me that there was no private rooms available for after delivery. And I remember telling them that you guys will provide me with a private room. I don't want to share. And I was so blessed and lucky that they were able to do something for me. Bottom line is I ended up not using my insurance. Your Alberta Healthcare basically covers everything. So the insurance, the reason why I had carried my insurance before is because if I needed to pay for like an extra private room or something, then my insurance will cover it. But They didn't need it, they just needed my Alberta healthcare. So this applies to Alberta. I don't know about anywhere else. I'm just saying what I used and what I didn't use. Another thing I didn't use is my birth plan. I won't say I didn't use it because I had everything in my head, but I didn't use the actual document, if that makes sense. Like, I didn't bring out the actual document and started reading it out to them. I had everything in my head. So when the doctors and the nurses will come in, so I was assigned a nurse. So when that nurse will come in and ask me questions, we literally will go through it together. Like, I had everything in my head. And when the doctors will come and we're talking about like the birth plan, things that can happen, because you know, every birth you have a plan, but it never really goes as planned. For me, I was very open to all options. So I basically discussed what was in that birth plan with them. I didn't have to bring out the physical document to start looking. I just went through it from what was in my head. The other thing is I ended up using the file, because they give you lots of paperwork after delivery. So you have to put everything in your file. They give you paperwork to go give to your family doctor when it's time for your family doctor to see you, because they advise that you go see your family doctor, I think after a couple of days, for the doctor to examine your baby again once you give birth. So there's a document they put in an envelope sealed that needs to be provided to your doctor. So all of those paperwork, those documents, everything was in my file. So I ended up using the file, but I ended up not using the birth plan. Like, I didn't bring it out to read to them. Another thing, which I think is pretty much the last thing, is I didn't eat as much. So I really did not, I couldn't eat. They told me I couldn't eat. So the only thing they would do for me was to provide me with apple juice. They just kept on giving me apple juice and ice. Apple juice, ice, and water. That's what I was allowed to eat, to drink, sorry, to have in my tummy. Every other thing, I wasn't allowed to eat it. So I ended up, if I remember correctly, in the last video, I didn't say all of the snacks I carried. I only showed you guys the Tim Hortons caramel granola bars. I ended up taking crackers, as well as I think I even have one of the crackers here. So this crackers, I don't know if you guys know it, I ended up taking those crackers. I had a bunch of it, as well as granola bars from the Tim Hortons. So I took those, and I took vitamin water and coconut water, and they would let me only have apple juice, ice, and water. So those were the only things I was allowed to have. So my husband would pretty much eat the other stuff. Then we ordered food that I couldn't eat. So what I'm trying to say is that the snacks I took, I didn't eat them. I think that's pretty much everything that I didn't use that was in my hospital bag. The only other thing I want to mention is remember to take a socks for your spouse. So I remember in my video, we didn't take extra socks for my husband, so he ended up using one of my socks. So if you remember, I took 2 socks, so he ended up using one of it. Bottom line is take extra socks for your spouse, so they have their own socks too, because it can get pretty cold in the hospital. I was provided lots of times with warm blankets. They just kept on giving me warm blankets. Like, if the other one gets cold, I request another one. So that's how they provided it to me at the hospital. So that's what I didn't use in my hospital bag. I can't remember any other thing now that I carried that I didn't use. Maybe if I remember, I can casually mention it in other videos, but bottom line, this is what I didn't use that was in my hospital bag. Every other thing, I pretty much utilized it, and I was glad that I carried them. If you're a pregnant mom, congratulations, and I'm wishing you a safe delivery. If you're a mom that is hoping to get pregnant, I pray the good Lord answers your prayers and you will be carrying your baby soon. If you're a mom that has already given birth, congratulations, and I'm hoping postpartum is treating you great, because that's another story entirely. Other than that, thank you so much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and if you haven't subscribed, please consider subscribing, and I'll see you guys on my next video. Take care, guys.